No legs? No problem. See, I traded my setbacks for sit-ups and turned my sit-ups into push-ups. I made my wheelchair into a war machine. And made these dumbbells my therapist.
Hey buddy, move out the way!
I'll be talking about the setup that sort of set me back to this day, really. So the year was 1927. No. As you know, it's been a little less than a year. July 12th, I believe, would be a year today since my hit and run that sort of put me where I am today. Surgery done. I don't know if you can see, but the scarring is healing up quite well. The setup is basically letting myself understand everything that has happened throughout this whole ordeal. I've been going through a roller coaster of a ride for quite some time now, but I never let that sort of hinder me in the full extent. So what does that mean? That means that even though I did have bad times, sad times, those sad times really took me down to the point where I did not want to end up in a deep rabbit hole. And I had to climb myself back up. I had to reach each step, you know, until I was out of that hole that most people would call depression. The significance of me getting back to fitness, lifting weights, has been not just a journey, but an essential part of my whole being. Being in a wheelchair sort of let me know that it's been my crutch all this time. I mean, even though I used crutches as well, but being in a wheelchair has really sort of told myself, wow, okay, this is something that I need to deal with in the long term, because if I let that sort of beat me down in the beginning, I don't think I would be weightlifting. I think I would be just crying in bed and oh, the train. I'll let that pass by. Wow, you hear that, right? That's the train. We got two trains passing by. But in other words, having the essence of sort of wheeling myself back to recovery, it was needed, and it is needed, because just like a lot of people, you can be packed in a little bubble, and if you don't know how to get out, you just sort of succumb to your situation. And if the situation is in dire need of saving, then you would have to give it everything you got in order to get yourself out of there. In philosophy, there's this saying, know thyself. Well, I know myself, and I knew that if I let myself eat me alive, in every sense of the word, it would be harder and harder to wake up and weightlift. And I knew I didn't want to do that because the body will change very quickly. Like after my operation, I didn't lift for what? For like a month, or maybe a month and a couple weeks. and I saw my body change. I was eating differently as well, because when you're succumb to the bed, that whole essence of eating well, I don't know, it sort of like diminishes, it sort of escapes your mentality. Oh, we got the train. The force of discipline, it needs to rise up again. And what I mean by that is when you have a physical limitation that's literally hindering you from walking, then you're in bed. You're going to need someone to take care of you, and then you sort of then you forget that you have to take care of yourself. So when I was in bed, I was asking people, "Oh, can you order this? Can you order that?" I was eating pizza, McDonald's, not every day, but twice a week or something like that. And then on top of that, popcorn and chips. And I caught myself. My body was changing ever so slowly, but it was changing, and I did, and I wanted to stop that immediately because the body, it's easy to change, in terms of you being lazy and all that. The the hardest part is telling the body to change in the most positive way, to which you're building the muscle, you're burning the fat. That is the most hardest way of change, especially when you're dealing with the outer part of yourself. I always say you got no excuse. Whether you're um, you know having no arms or no legs, you you have to tell yourself one thing: you're the captain of your own vessel, because you only have one vessel. We have one mind, one body, um, and if you're not careful, you can hit that iceberg. Iceberg right ahead, you know. And then you're saying to yourself, "Are you Jack or are you Rose? Or are you both?" It's all about the mindset. It's all about the power of will, and that's the most fascinating part. Is wheeling myself. A lot of people would say, "Oh man, I would love to be in a, love to just cruise around all the time, with the wheelchair." But it's very difficult. At least the first few weeks, your body isn't used to it. So every time you wheel, long distances, your arms get tired, and you deal with rough terrain. Uh, it's never a smooth surface. Like for instance, I went to the movies a few days ago. I, I I was wheeling like 2 miles, and every few blocks I had to just stop, shake, and regain my strength, but not physically. My strength here, the mind, because the mind is a terrible thing to waste. Look, life is going to throw you every weight from the gym. Life is going to throw you that 45. Life is going to throw you that 35. Life is going to throw you that 25. So you gotta weave and dodge. You know, and it's throwing it right to you. You would think, but then you look back, and it was actually throwing it onto the bar. Now you have plates. Now life is telling you you gotta bench press that mother effer all the way up, and you can't give up because once you do, then that's it. You lost, and you don't want to do that. I know don't want to do that. I know I don't want to do that. Do that. So, if you are dealing with a situation right now, or if you know someone dealing with a situation right now, tell that person or tell yourself that the sun will always shine the next day, and it's your decision whether you want to shine with it. Um, This is One Leg is Enough, and I'll outro out with push-ups. What do you say, huh? Let's do about 20 push-ups right now. 1, 2, 3. Wow. All right, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Guys, I'll catch you on the next video. One leg is enough. Out.